Welcome to my channel.
This
Here.
image! I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time!
Dondero.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared. Just let it slide in.
Oh my god. Oh, what? What happened? What? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah, because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might him on an island and eat his chicken, but that
Yes.
All right. Lord, I look like hell. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. It's on brand. It's on topic. Hello, everyone. Hello. Whoa. There ain't no fixing this in post. There ain't no fixing this. It's fine. It's fine. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Waking Up. I am Arugs. I am one of the co-hosts, and with me is my co-host and best friend in the entire world, most days, Pep. Hold on. I wonder if they can hear you. Or me. No, there we go. All right, that's cool. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah, we got it. We're cool. We're cool. Hello, and welcome to Waking Up. I am Roogs. This is Pep. Why did they hear you? Yeah, it's fine. Fuck it. That seems the way where we're at today.
Quiet.
Maybe it's just you. I don't care. I'm Roogs. That's Sean. Fuck it. That's where we're at.
Hey.
What?
Hi.
Okay.
Oh, I'm trying to talk loud into the mic.
And here, okay, so we're gonna do the disclaimer because we're gonna keep this short today, folks. We're gonna keep it a little short. I have stuff to do. We're gonna talk about why we're keeping it short today, okay? Because I wasn't even gonna stream today, but I decided that this topic was something that like I really, really wanted to talk about, and I think it's something that's important that we talk about. So. Short disclaimer. We're not here to bash anyone's faith or religion. We think faith and religion are beautiful things when done in a mentally and emotionally healthy manner. We are not mental health professionals. Anything said on this podcast is our own personal experience, our own personal opinions. If you do need professional help, please, let us know. Or it's at NerdMomAce on all the social medias. We certainly have resources that we can get you in touch with, people that can actually help you. This is just our opinions. This is just our experiences. We ain't it. It ain't it. And you're going to understand why we ain't it here in a little bit. Sean and I both grew up Southern Baptist. We grew up in the wonderful state of North Carolina, and we grew up Billy Graham country. So it was, if those of you don't know, Southern Baptist is an evangelical denomination of the Christian faith. And it can vary greatly on the strictness of their evangelicalism. at that. I can say that. Look at that is fun word. Hello, Unreal Lifts. And yeah, so, hey, so, I came up with the topic today. So usually I ask Pep, hey, what are we talking about today? But I came up with the topic today, and it's one that actually I have thought about and struggling with this past 2 weeks, if not more. It's what do we do in a mental health crisis? What do we do in a crisis when we don't have faith, when we don't have a higher power to, like, what is that experience for us? Because growing up, we were told, just pray about it. Just pray. And that's a lot of what we did. Whenever in mental health, a mental or emotional crisis, we were just told to pray. And we bottle up the emotions.
Also that.
But we're gonna let Pep get into that because he's a pro.
I have lots of experience.
He's a pro. I am not. I'm exactly opposite. Thanks to my borderline, I do not bottle emotions. When I did try to bottle emotions, it was things went bad. So, what do we do when we don't have somebody just to pray to? When we don't just give it out? And the reason I say this is I have been in I'm very overloaded with work. I worked last weekend. That's why I didn't stream. I worked last weekend. I am overloaded with being a parent and an employee, and just my personal life. My house looks like a freaking dumpster. I'm sure it doesn't look as bad as I feel it is, but like my bathroom still needs to be cleaned, like that type of thing. And I'm struggling. I am struggling hard. I had a breakdown yesterday. And things, I was having a good day Friday, and then all of a sudden I just got figuratively pushed off a cliff. One thing after another on Friday, and it just seemed to steamroll through the entire weekend. A lot of
you had some stuff going on.
I had a lot of shit going on, and I was already in a mentally I don't want to say unstable, fragile state, emotionally fragile state. Just because of the stress that I'm under, and the past couple of weeks, my intrusive thoughts have been really bad, and they have been really loud, and it's been really hard. And it's like, what do you do when you don't just pray about it? You know what I mean? Like when it's just like you were trained, I was not raised. I was not raised or taught, even through most of my, even when I wasn't in the church, because I was in still such a Christian-based community. Why have you prayed about it? Why don't you give it to God?
That was the answer. That was the answer for everything. That was kind of the thoughts and prayers. That was what people told us, was just pray about it. I am very much guilty of that because I stayed in the church for much longer, and I absolutely did that to myself and to other people. I remember a specific friend that I lost because I kept doing that, and it was the last time that I ever talked to her. When I pulled you should pray about it. That's really what you should just pray about it.
Because it's invalidating.
It is. It is. It's invalidating, and it's not helpful. It really isn't. Listen, it's the thoughts and prayers. It doesn't really do anything. It makes me, as for me telling someone, it makes me feel better because I said something, because I told them something, because I'm helping, but it really doesn't help them at all. But that was what we believed we were supposed to do, both for ourselves and to tell other people.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, have you just prayed about it? And when you hear, for somebody who is in especially for me, I can only speak for myself, but for somebody who is in a mental health crisis and a very severe distress state. Now, you have varying states of distress. And that's it. But when you're in a crisis and you are reaching out and you are desperate to have somebody hear you and say, I'm here for you. And what do you need? How can I help? How can I help? But when you say, have you tried praying about it? It is basically going, not my problem, go tell somebody else. That is basically what you're doing.
Yeah, that is absolutely. It's very invalidating.
Oh, absolutely. And you're just like, oh, okay.
It kind of shuts down the conversation. It really feels like it shuts it down. Like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't really care. I'm just going to tell you to do something.
I can't do anything about it. Go tell God. AKA, not my problem. Go tell somebody else.
Yeah.
And that is not what, I don't think that's what the giver intends, but that is exactly when somebody is in a mental health crisis and in distress. I walked in dropping my kid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I got you, Bear.
Cover me. I don't have any.
I got my emotional support mug.
That's what they hear. And, but then
it's what.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's what we know to do. It's the only thing that we learn. That's what I learned to do. I didn't learn how to deal with mental health. I didn't learn that was a thing to even deal with. Of course, growing up in the 80s, 90s, there wasn't a lot of support for the idea of mental health. And so pray about it was like maybe you should talk to a therapist. Like I feel like that was the intention, the behind when people said it, because you don't go to a therapist, so you go to God. But that's not really what it, because going to a therapist and going to God are very different things, whether you believe in it or not.
But
going to a therapist,
even saying maybe you should talk to a therapist, that also is the same thing as maybe you should pray about it. Like it's very invalidating and not, and the intention again is really good, but it's one of those, you could say, I am not equipped to help you in the way you need to be helped, but I am here for you. That and you know what? If you like, I really think that you should talk to I understand you should talk to somebody that's more qualified than me, but I am here for you, and I am. But it's different than go talk to a therapist. Again, it's not my problem.
Don't bother me with it. Don't bother me with it. Yeah.
Like what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. We tell people that you may need to seek therapy, but we're not sitting here going, "Don't talk to me. You just need to go talk to a therapist."
Right.
We're saying we'll talk to you. If you want to message us on Discord, if you want to reach out to us, we'll talk to you. But we're also not qualified, and so there may be a point where we do care about you, and we're gonna help you in whatever way we can. But there's things that therapists can do that we can't.
Right. Absolutely. And we're not going to claim, we never claim to be therapists. So again, this is just our experiences, what we know and what we're going by. And I remember like, I even have like trauma. I even talked about trauma, because I was told so often, and because of my mental illnesses and because of the things that I suffered, I was often told, pray about it. Have you read their Bible? Have you prayed about it? Like, and so have you done devotionals? Have you spent more time with God? Okay. So what did I do as a good Christian girl, as somebody who was trying to be obedient, because I was told that was the only way I was going to have eternal life and be a value to society, was to be an obedient Christian woman, a girl. I read the Bible, and there was that verse in Proverbs, for I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, but to help you. And that was my mantra. That was my gaslighting verse. And there's always a verse that every like hardcore Christian has, that is their verse. That is their verse. And it's my gaslighting verse. was,
Yeah.
I know the plans I have for you. He's not going to hurt me. So what I'm going through, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll be fine, right? I'll be fine. God doesn't want to hurt me. God doesn't want me to suffer. I know I'm suffering now, but God doesn't want me to suffer. And so I never really addressed what was wrong. I learned how to go, I know I'm hurting, but I'm going to just ignore the fact that I'm hurting. And I'm just going to not deal with it until eventually, and I'm not going to deal with the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna keep moving and just remember God has plans for me. God has plans for me.
I see it like compartmentalizing. Like it's in your box, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not in God.
Sorry, I couldn't let that one pass. I'm sorry. When things are in my box, it's something completely different, and then I make an OnlyFans page.
God probably does come into that conversation as well.
I know, but
container. How about container?
Thanks. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's better.
So we're putting it in God's container. We're compartmentalizing it. It's in his container. Let him deal with it. And it just sits there. And on top of that, we're taught that I was taught that if I gave it to God, if I put it in his container, but then I still worried about it, then that was pretty much sin itself, because I wasn't trusting God to deal with it. So not only did I have to put it in his container, I also had to completely ignore it and stop thinking about it and just let it sit there. But that doesn't work, because we're human, and that's not how mental health works. Compartmentalizing and doing all that doesn't help. I'm not dealing with it at that point. And God wasn't dealing with it either. So it was pretty much just squashing it down. And if I thought about it and if I worried about it, then I felt guilty because I didn't trust God.
And here's where having a mental health crisis and being Christian really fucks you up. Okay, especially when you deconstruct, is you go through these crises and you're told you go to somebody, you're told talk to somebody you trust, right? And then you go to somebody you trust and they tell you to pray about it. Then you feel invalidated. And then over time, you are trained to not talk to anyone, to not tell somebody that you are hurting, that you are going through some stuff. You are trained that no matter who I go to, I'm just going to be told that I am not enough, that I am not doing the right things, that I am not, that they are just going to redirect me. So I am not going to bother anybody with my problems. And you feel very isolated. And then you don't learn how, especially when you should do it when you're you are a practicing Christian, but when you're deconstructed, and you're not a Christian anymore, you don't learn that you're in this mental health crisis. You don't learn how to reach out. You suffer in silence. Because as the topic says, then who the fuck do I talk to? If I can't talk to God, and everybody that I went to in my life previously, my past has dictated that if I have gone to somebody in a crisis and they have just invalidated and dismissed me, who the fuck do I talk to? And all you've got left in your head are the demons in your head. And I can tell you that for a fact, it's not a fun place to be. And my demons have been motherfucking, I don't know what amped them up. Somebody gave them some steroids or something, but the intrusive thoughts have been fucking loud as shit. So loud that it's just like, I can't hear, I can't think past these thoughts. But how do I say that? And feel safe with saying that? Because you don't, even like somebody says, oh, you can trust me, you can talk to me anytime. Yeah, well, I was told that all my life too. I'm
Yeah.
here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And then when you come to them, it's like thoughts and prayers and have you prayed about it? Have you read your Bible? It's not, no, you're not there for me.
If you're feeling bad, you should stop feeling bad and feel good instead. That's kind of what it comes what you get is, and I'm guilty of the cheerleading and the not helpful phrases, the not helpful things instead of creating an emotional safe space. Yes, I'm guilty of this.
Sean, I have had to bless
been a
Sean.
journey.
He does mean well, but again, he was in the church way longer than I was, and so to him, and again, none of these people mean harm. I'm not saying that they mean
they don't.
harm, and Sean doesn't mean harm, but it's when I come to him in a crisis. And he's like, you got this. You're great.
Do it.
Yeah,
Don't
you
go.
know, you're got it. You're strong. You can make it through this. I'm like, that is not how I feel right now. I do not need a cheerleader. Now, sometimes some people need cheerleaders, and that's fine. That's them, not me. I don't need a cheerleader. I don't need somebody going, you've got this. You got it. Again, it's still very much like, okay, yes, I know I'm going to survive, but that's not where I'm at right now. I don't need you to go, yay! No, I don't need somebody on the fucking sidelines fucking waving their pom-poms telling me that go team go. I don't need that. I need somebody that is going to be sitting there playing the game with me. And if at the very least, being my fucking water boy and like, here's some water. Make sure to hydrate. Like, you know...
Yeah, checking in on you, making sure you're hydrated.
Right.
trying to get you to take care of yourself.
Listen.
Hey, have you?
Listen. We're not gonna go. No, listen. We don't need to talk about me not taking care of
No?
myself.
Okay. Jay, have you just tried being happy? Yeah, that's kind of. Have you tried exercising?
Oh. Fuck, that is the non-Christian fucking way of have you tried praying about it? Oh.
Yeah. Have you exercised? Have you done these things that'll fix you? Here, I've got an idea that'll fix you. You probably never considered before, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you tried meditating? Which now, mindful meditation. Okay. Mindful meditation is a thing in dialectical behavior therapy and a lot of the other mental health. Yes, mindful meditation is a great thing. But you have to do it like meditation. It's mindful meditation. Is doing it in the proper way with the proper skill set. Just saying, meditate about it is not, it's like, okay, your mind goes blank, but what you're not doing it with a purpose. So then there's no healing in that.
And if you got ADHD, this idea of meditation is nigh impossible. It feels that way.
It sucks and life is hard, but are you really going to let this be you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
But then
I never learned how to hold how to create an emotional safe space. Like when I was growing up in the church, that wasn't a concept. It was I'm gonna you come to me with a problem and I'm gonna tell you to go pray about it. I'm gonna tell you we're gonna open up the Bible and see what the Bible has to say because we're going to. But both of those are fix it. I'm going to fix you until you're happy. Because as a Christian, you're supposed to have the joy of the Lord. And so you can't be depressed. Sorry, I should have said a trigger warning there. But I use these phrases. I got to preface.
My eye is twitching. Hold on. Go ahead. Keep going.
But yeah, so you're taught like you have to be happy. So you can't be depressed. God wouldn't want you to be depressed. God wouldn't want you to feel bad, feel negative. Have these voices. You just need to see what the Bible has to say. So as a Christian, I learned from seeing what other people did. And so I didn't learn how to create an emotionally safe space. It was always, well, here's how you fix it. Here's what you need to do so you don't feel this way. So learning that as an adult has been a journey.
And it's being told, don't feel this way. And that's
Yeah,
and that is
all
what
it is.
honestly that is what I struggle with when I go back, because I call it my default setting, because everybody goes to their default setting and what they have been trained, and I say trained, not raised, but like trained over time. This is your default setting. You go to this when you're in survival mode, this is your default setting, and everybody's default setting is different. It doesn't look the same in anybody else. Their mindset, their bodies, their routines, their default setting is all different. And for me, my default setting is I'm struggling, and I am going to sit here and automatically go through all the things that I am not doing. I am disassociated, so I am not connecting with my kids, and I'm not cleaning my house away, and I am not doing what I need to be doing. I am depressed, and I am struggling, and I am overworked and overstimulated and all of these things, but I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's that shame of I am not happy. I am not okay. I am riding this storm out. And you're not taught to ride the storm or urge surf. Actually, I talked Chris and I talked to our oldest about this, because she was like, she was crying. I feel sad. I don't know why. And we had to explain to her what urge surfing is, like how you feel an emotion and you don't get in he explained it, because this is the way his therapist explained it to him, which I thought was brilliant. The emotion is a car. You think of it as like all the emotions and thoughts are cars, and you see the car of sadness, and you don't flag it down. You don't get in. You just let the car go by. You acknowledge the car is driving past you, but you don't get in the car. You don't get in the taxi. You don't get in it and ride. You just watch it go by. And accept that is sadness. That is sadness. And I am feeling sad, and I am going to let it go. I'm just going to accept that it is here. And I'm not going to get in the car, and I'm not going to ask where it's going, and I'm not going to ask why it's here. You're just going to let the car drive on by. And I thought that was brilliant. But you're not taught that in the church.
Not at all.
You're not taught.
It's all about fixing it.
Yes.
It's don't feel this way. You shouldn't feel this way. God doesn't want you to feel this way. If you were, you wouldn't feel this way. If you believed hard enough, if you were sincere enough, all these parameters that you can't quantify. How do I know if I'm sincere enough? How do I know if I'm trying hard enough? How do I know if I love Jesus enough? You can't quantify that. So when things don't get better, because they're not going to, you blame yourself because you weren't sincere enough, believed hard enough, whatever. And it makes it worse.
And that's where I instantly go. Even now that I'm not a Christian, I don't go, like, I instantly go to, I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. I am not a good enough mother. I am not a good enough employee. I am not a good enough person. I am not enough. I am look at my house. Look at all the things I haven't done. Look at all these things and the thing is that you're in this distressed state, and you were trained to pray about it. And when you pray about it, you're not talking to somebody else. You're basically talking to yourself, and you're told to keep it to yourself, basically.
Yep, that's true.
Pray about it. Keep it to yourself, and just give it to God. Talk to God. Now, is journaling a form of that? Yes, journaling is a form of that. Journaling is a form of praying. Because you are conveying your thoughts on paper. But journaling is different in praying, in the fact that you are not expecting your journal to fix it. You're not expecting your journal when you journal instead of praying. Like, you're not expecting your journal to magically come up and go, oh, you know what? My journal has a plan for me. Like, if you really think about it, my journal has a plan for me. It'll be fine. Like, it'll fix it. But that's not it. And
Tom Riddle's not in your journal.
What? You pulling out that Harry Potter reference, and I don't know whether to love you or hate you all at the same fucking time.
That was a victory sip right there.
Probably. Good job.
For anyone that doesn't have Tom Riddle in their journal, it's not going to do that.
And for those of you who don't know the reference, it's a Harry Potter reference. And then you struggle with, who do I talk to? who do I talk to? Do I talk to anyone? Do I share my struggles with somebody? And you don't know how to trust, and you don't know how to share, and you're afraid you're being a burden, and you're afraid you're not being enough. Like you don't know.
You're being too much.
Right. Are they my friend enough, or they care about me enough to want to listen?
I'm so worried that the person is going to invalidate my emotions, going to tell me, you know, if it's a Christian, they're going to tell me the same stuff, because you have been conditioned, you have been trained, this is the response, and you're so scared that the person's going to do that. I get so worried the person's going to either, I'm going to be a burden to them, or they're going to do the same thing that everybody else has done, that you just don't say anything.
Very well.
Stop speaking my thoughts. Yeah, this is very common, especially when you grow up in the church.
And just in general, like I have been struggling, and it has been so hard. And my default setting is, first off, take the blame. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not this. And on the thanks, Paragon. Did I need to put my I mean.
Yeah.
So,
watch it from me. Go back.
yeah, and actually we said that we were going to trying to keep this like under like 40, like an hour, 45 minutes. So yeah, so because I have stuff to do. I like, speaking of trauma and feeling, but I struggle with, I need somebody. I can't do this alone. I can't ride this storm by myself. Some storms you can. Some storms you can ride out. And yes, I will survive whatever storm it is, because I will ride out this storm. Because as Pep always says, the storms always run out of rain. And that is very true. Yep. But I was taught that I had to ride out the storms alone. That I had to just ride out the storms all by myself. And because who do I talk to? Who do I feel safe with? Where is my safe space? And when you are no longer praying about it, and you are sitting there and, okay, I talked to my therapist. Yes, you have your therapist, but that's an hour for once a week. Or every other week.
Yeah.
What happens in the 6 to 13 other days? Mm-hmm. Does that shirt say imposter? Yes, it does. Yeah. I actually got it for him as a present.
It's one of my favorite things. Fellow imposter.
Because Sean always says.
Oh my! Yeah, so many of our people weren't around for the.
They were not around for these sus times. Sean was always, and I'm very convincing, so they always voted Sean off. Always. I'm just very convincing. What do you know?
She is.
That's why I have a cult.
But even when you have your therapist is your therapist, but it's still not the same as talking to a friend. Between those days, talking to someone that's not your therapist. Your therapist is important, but it's also important to have that person or a couple people that you feel safe with to express how you feel and those intrusive thoughts, that's not going to judge you and not try to fix you.
And everybody's different. I think, like, for example, okay. I have what I call the council. And that's something that started with, Pep and Bear, back when Bear first started and we got close. Like, it was, those two, they were my counsel. I went to, and we went to each other, like, it was and now Jay is part of the council. Now Jay is team
Jay is
AOA.
fantastic. Yes.
He came to the dark side. It's fine.
Did. We had, it's because our cookies are better.
Our cookies are the bomb. That's it. But I know that I can say, here's where I'm at, and without hesitation, and we have proven vice versa when somebody else absolutely needed something, whether it be physical or mental or emotional support. We were there. Like we go and we're that group for each other where it's like we show up and they're like, I need somebody, and we're like, how can we help? What can we do? And sometimes after you get to that point, you're gonna help them even though their trauma is going, no, I'm fine. Those three guys absolutely know. But I totally go, I am a fucking wreck. And I go, but I'm fine. They're like, no, you're not.
Don't start with us. Don't try to don't come around here masking.
No, yes. And it's what's sad is sometimes it's trial and error. Because I know that there are some people that I was vulnerable with in times of distress that I thought were people that I could trust, and ended up not being people I could trust, and being somebody who was very fleeting. But it's being vulnerable. Who do you talk to? You talk to somebody you feel safe being vulnerable with. And somebody who is going to sit there and go, I'm going to sit in the dark with you until I'm not going to fix it. Acknowledging that they can't fix it. Acknowledging that they don't have a plan or whatever. And you shouldn't depend on somebody to fix it for you. That's another, that is not a healthy way either. Now, do you need help? Absolutely. But, you can't depend on somebody. There's a difference between helping and fixing. And when we were Christians, or when I was a Christian, I expected God to fix it. And like Sean said, you learned how to fix other people's problems. You didn't learn how to help.
Yes.
Here are the tools. Here's your resources. Here's what I have that can help you, but you have to pick up the hammer and you've got to fix your own ship. I will help, shovel out buckets of water for you while you're going under, but you have to fix that hole. You have to be the one to fix the damage. You have to be that one, but I will be here to support you in what I can, but you have to do the heavy lifting.
Ooh, yeah. I've heard that one. You're going to have to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah,
have you, Pep? Have you?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's something, again, that's something I've had to learn to do. I've had to learn to ask and to say, and all I do is heavy lifting. It is. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm reading book Paragons, and
yeah,
it was like
me too.
they're yeah. So I'm like, okay, which one? So I just happen to see Nerdy's a hard time opening up and being vulnerable. I still very much struggle with that. I've struggled with the feeling like a bird. And even though I'm like, like cerebrally, I know they're not gonna feel that way. They're probably not gonna feel that way. My nervous system still says that's gonna happen, and trying. That's a tough one. That one comes up in therapy a lot.
Hi, Kavita.
Oh, hey, Kavita.
I'm gonna adjust Paragons.
Okay.
So, it says what feels bad to me is I'll talk to people about my traumas, and sometimes it feels like I'm dumping while not exactly helping them out too much. Like I'm opening to you, but it feels like you're not opening me, which makes me feel like a burden.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case. That is your trauma. And I struggle with that so hard. It's that perception. It is that mindset that I'm over here just like emotionally, you feel like you're emotionally vomiting. It does, which is why I'm trying to talk to you, which is why I can actually speak to this with thing. Everybody deals with their hardships in a different way. And you have to understand that you can't help, it can't be two people just going bleh at the same time. And that person, I know for me with you, Paragon, I know that for our talks, there are times where you're in a better place than I am. And so I feel more comfortable knowing you are in a more emotional, available space for me to open up to you. But then there are times where I may be struggling, but I'm in a better emotional space to support you. It's not going to be the same all the time. When Sean's struggling and I'm struggling, there are times where I go, I can't be there for you. I can't.
Yep, that's correct.
Now, if you need somebody to listen, I will listen. But please do not expect anything of me other than to sit here and listen. And if you want to be real honest, I have this past couple of weeks.
Sometimes you don't even have that.
Yeah, these past couple of weeks,
okay.
I've barely spoken to Sean.
You have been so busy, and I have respected that, because I'm like, you're incredibly busy. You've got your stuff going on. The last thing you need is me going, hey, talk to me. Hey, Arugs, are we okay? Are we okay, Arugs? Not my trauma's still there. I promise you that. But I have to understand that you have a lot of stuff going on, and that this is where you're at.
And I choose to allocate my energy where I want it to go. So Paragon, when you message me and you check in on me, you know there are some days I don't respond for 24 hours, for a couple of days. But when I do respond, yep, I am choosing and I'm making that choice that, hey, I have enough energy today. I have enough mental and emotional safe space that I want to allocate this time and energy to you. So it is not that it is going to be an equal give and take. It is not. And that's okay. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that I think that you care about me any less or that I care about you any less. How many times a day?
No, what Arugs, what you just said about how long it may take for you to respond. I do the same thing many times. There will times where I will go days or sometimes longer without responding, and sometimes I don't have the mental and emotional energy to carry on conversations.
Yay, Calvino.
How many times a day go without communicating with someone and you feel the need to apologize for being a burden? I used to feel really insecure about myself, so I was constantly, if the other person didn't communicate with me on a regular basis, I felt like something was wrong. I must have done something wrong. I said something I shouldn't have. They're mad at me. That wasn't them. That was my trauma, and it has taken a lot of therapy to get to the point where I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't feel that way or I don't think that way, because I still do. But I also understand why I feel that way, and I know it's that voice. That's where the IFS comes in. That's why I really like learning about IFS, the internal family systems. Is that I realize there's a voice that's telling me this. That voice is going, "You must have said something stupid."
That critical voice.
That critical voice, yeah, and you can not ignore it, but talk to that voice and let it know that its voice is appreciated. But that's not the direction I'm going. I'm not going to sit here and just run with that. And so it's taken a lot of time. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth going through that journey to get to that point.
Mm-hmm. And it also takes trust. It also, and that's something that
Ooh,
if
yes,
you
it
are,
does.
if you are an insecure attachment, if you are an anxious attachment, insecure, like Sean and I both are very much that, it's that relationship permanence. It's like, if I'm not constantly talking to that person, I have done something wrong and our relationship is falling apart. This person has
Yes.
stopped talking in a certain way, and it's a hypervigilance thing, which is a trauma response.
Yes.
That let me tell you, that trauma response, that coping mechanism is what was the source of most of my anxiety. That they stopped talking the way we stop, like, because you're talking every day,
There's a
every day.
shift.
Yeah, there's a shift. And
Yeah.
oh my God, I did something. What did I fucking do? And then you like get into that whole shame spiral of I'm being a burden. And then you try to remind them and I'm sorry for being a burden. And I don't want to be a burden. And you start this whole avalanche.
And that right there, that what you're doing to try to compensate, what we do to try to compensate for that becomes the burden that you were worried about was there. There was no burden. You created the burden, because at that point the person's like, I'm stressed out. I don't have time for that, because it wasn't there to begin with. They were fine. And then you introduced it, but that's why your trauma can really hit you hard when you give into it.
Nerdy Well, I got one for you. I got an answer for you. And this one is hard. And it fucking sucks. So I'm going to warn you now. I'm gonna warn you now. This one is, especially if you're severely traumatized and you're really deep in this. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, this fucking sucks. But it is what it is, and trust me, it is what I practice all the time. DBT and some other therapy, like cognitive therapies, but just the facts. And when there is a shift, you don't shy away from it, don't ignore it. You go, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I'm feeling a little anxious because there's been a change in our communication, or there's been a change in your behavior. There has been acknowledging that and not blaming them, but just saying, hey, this is, for those of you logical people, it's right, like it is. It's right.
It's an observation.
Stating the facts. There's been a shift. I have noticed this shift, and the shift is causing me to feel really anxious. And I just need to ask for you to be honest with me. Is there something that I have done, or is there something going on that I am not aware of that is causing this shift? Now, you can't force them to tell you the truth. You can't force them. You can't, you can, like, if you don't, because your brain will not believe them. Your brain, especially but if you're just new to starting out to like using this, your brain will want to say they're not telling the truth. They're not telling me the truth. But you have to use just the facts, and that's what the Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So that is the truth. What you say is the truth. That is what they are telling me. Now, they may be lying to you. You don't know that. But you ask them, saying, I need to know so that I can know what is going on. And whatever you tell me, I'm going to take as truth. Mm-hmm. So I need you to be honest. And whatever they say, well, no, it's not you. I'm stressed at work. I've got so much going on. It is not you. I am sorry. I just withdraw, and they're doing whatever they need to do. I promise that you've done nothing wrong. And here is where it sucks, because you have to take what they say and go, okay. And that is that. And you leave it there. No needing an explanation from them. No trying to get into the whole like, well, I'm feeling this way. No, you ask them the question, a direct question. I've observed this. This is how it's making me feel. Is there something that I have done? Is there something that maybe I'm done or doing or behavior that is causing this shift? And is it something that I need to address? And if they say no, then you have to leave it there. Facts in a court of law. They have said this. This is what you have to take as truth. Now, if the behavior continues for a certain time and it is causing you mental and emotional distress, then maybe it's time for you to just give them the space and go, okay, I need to let them go and they can come back to me. And that's hard too. And it sucks.
Because you don't have any control over them. You have to trust it and let it go. And it's when you don't, the problem becomes once they've given you the answer, if you don't let it go, if you don't leave it alone, if you start coming back, that's when it can actually create a problem where there wasn't a problem.
Mm-hmm. Because that person,
it's very hard to do that.
Yes, because
I know.
sometimes it happens for you too. Like I know, like Sean and I, like I said, I have completely withdrawn. I have completely withdrawn from most people in my life right now because I don't have it. I am in survival mode, and sometimes I'm not surviving well at all. And it's And he'll be like, "Did I do something?" Nope. I'm just working hard. I am just working, and I can't, and I don't have enough hours in the day. I don't have enough there. I'm not sleeping okay. And he has to leave it there.
It's hard. I'm better at it, but it's still hard. I fully admit that. There are times I tell you my trick. I recognize that it is still hard. One of the things that I do when I'm starting to get in my head, I'm starting to get those thoughts, is aside from talking to those, recognizing it, talking to it, I will also put the phone down, back away from the keyboard. I will find something to do, because if I don't, I will sit there and I will type and erase and type and erase and type and erase and type and erase.
And trust me, it's like bubbles that I'm like, God damn it, Sean. Because then that gives me anxiety. Then it gives me anxiety. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Sometimes it's gone on for so long that Aruz will go, are you going to send the text or not? Are you going to keep erasing it or are you going to send it? But yeah, because it's kind of like when you're cooking and you're standing at the stove. It's agonizing waiting for something to happen on the stove. You got to walk away from it. You got to put it down. Go do something else. Because the more you sit in that space, the worse it's going to get and the harder it is to not do it. And there's a good chance you're eventually going to do it. So put the phone down.
And you're not being a burden. And just the facts. And sometimes we do that to ourselves too. Like my therapist is like, okay, I know you are feeling that way. Like when I talk about how I'm not doing all the things, what are the facts? Yeah. And when you have to sit there and list just the facts, not how you feel, not your thoughts, but the facts. Mm-hmm. It sucks. And I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I'm not even going to be like, it's an uncomfortable moment. No, it fucking sucks.
You realize how much of a story you tell yourself. I realize how much of a story I'm telling myself. I'm not telling myself the facts. I have concocted a story, a novel around nothing, pretty much.
You should have seen. You should have been the fly on the wall for half of our, like, especially before like the past. Like Pep's done a lot of growing in the past year and a half. Like, it really has. Since his new therapist, he's done a lot of growing. And I'm really proud of you.
Really good.
Yes, his new therapist is amazing, and I'm so proud of you. And so he's done a lot of growing and changing in the past year and a half. But before that,
the before times.
It was like, I'm like, where is all of this coming from? What the fuck where did you, what?
Uh-huh.
He got like super upset for me like one time, and I'm like, what did I do? Like, I literally told you exactly what was going on. But in his head, he went in some way different direction. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad about it too. I'm bad about it too, though. I am terrible. In my head, concocting
It's really hard to when that story starts to wind up. It can be really difficult to pull that back and go, okay, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, it's one thing when you're sitting in front of your therapist, but it's another thing when you're doing it on your own. To sit there and go, okay, whoa, hold on, slow your roll. Let's talk. There it is. Yeah.
My multiple notebooks. Look at this, like these lists, and yeah.
Just facts.
Just the facts. Just like you sit here and you just
And if you're
talk it out.
Yeah. And if you're as old as I am, just the facts, ma'am, might mean something to you.
Oh my god. But it's hard. It's hard. And oh, thanks. Actually, this if you want to know, like, this is distress handwriting. So
and it's still pretty. Look at it.
I've been in a bad place the past couple of weeks. And I mean really bad. Very dark. My default setting has come out, and honestly, in full transparency, I can tell you that there have been coping mechanisms and defense strategies that that have surfaced that have not appeared for a very long time. And that's when I knew I was not okay. And I'm going to tell, like, our community, and I'm gonna like it. You don't have to know. You don't even have to tell those people like every single detail. Because here's the phrase that I tell most of the people that I trust. I'm not okay. Because for the longest time, I couldn't even tell people that. I am not okay. And that is the red flag, that is the trigger, that is to my counsel, to my friends. Mm-hmm. They know when I say I am not okay, that I am not okay. And their first thing is like, how can I help? What do you need? And sometimes it's just the simple fact of I need somebody to know. It's not even that I want them to say anything to me, or that I want to talk about it, or that I want to do anything about it, or that I need them to do anything about it. And if I need them to do something, I've gotten better about telling them. Sometimes y'all have to like push the button a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
you got a lot better at that.
Sometimes just knowing that they know I'm not okay. And it's the simple knowledge of the fact. And I don't who do I talk to? It's not even that I need to talk to anyone. It is just the simple fact that I am not okay. And that's putting them on like, okay, I know she's not okay. So I am going to give her some space till she tells me what she needs or whatever. And I'll check in on her. Are you doing okay? And she might not respond. And like Pep checked on me last night. I didn't respond to him. Like I saw it and I was folding on it. And it's like, I don't feel like talking right now. I don't. And
that's okay.
But he checked in on me. And I was like, okay, he checked in on me. Jay is like, what do you need? Are you okay? Bear, How are you holding up? We haven't heard from you.
Yep.
Just a simple fact of they know they can't fix it. And every one of them, every friend is different too. You feel safe, more comfortable talking about certain things with different people, and that's okay too. You do not have to be fully vulnerable with every single person that you trust. Sometimes you want to talk to somebody about relationship problems, but not this person, and that's okay. Or family problems. Like, I'm not going to sit here, like, no offense, Sean, I love you, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about the struggles of being a parent with you because you don't understand the struggles of being a parent. But Jay and Bear do.
We had that. We had that conversation. I was just thinking that we had that conversation where I was asking, and you were like, "Look, it's you know." I'm
And
struggling with
Calvino
being a
does
parent,
use spam memes. He does. Yeah, I love Calvino's memes and TikToks.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes that's the checking in. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't have any. All I can do is sit there and listen to you. But maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you need something more. And I'm not a parent. There's nothing I can tell you that's really going to gonna help. Whereas someone like Bear or Jay can. And as a friend, it's important for me to understand that and not to think of that as, well, I'm not a good friend, or you don't think of me as good of a friend, or I can't take that as a criticism of me. That doesn't change who we are. Because I can't be all things to you, you can't be all things to me, and every other relationship. And that's okay. And it's taken some time to get to that point. I say that like I'm this wise. No, it's taken a long time to get
And he's still not 100% there.
and I'm still not. I still have these moments where I'm like, she can't talk. This is not about me. This is not about me. She is the one struggling. It's about her.
Right. And it does become vice versa. It really, really does. And there's other things like there are some things, Sean, I'm like, okay. Like, it's fine. I don't, yeah, you do you. Like, but there's just some things you can't pray about. And when you're a Christian and you're raised to be a Christian, you're just told, like, just talk to God and God will fix everything. And when you don't have that sky daddy doming your entire life, telling you what to do, how to do it, what to be, and you don't rely on that all-knowing, deity dom, like, you like that deity dom, you like that?
Deity dom, yeah.
You feel a little lost. Because then you got that trauma. Because not on top of that, you're not only feeling the distress, but you're feeling that shame and that trauma and distrust towards others. Mm-hmm. And that adds so much to what you're going through. I know it has for me.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts when you deconstruct, is you end up in that gap between I'm no longer using God, I'm no longer giving up to God, but I don't feel like I've got a support system around me, especially because a lot of the people that you would have gone to, the people you would have talked to, are people that are still in the church, and you may not feel safe to talk to those people anymore if you ever did. And so not knowing who to talk to, that's one thing that I ran into as I was deconstructing, is who do I talk to?
And on top of that, once you do have a good support system, like my counsel, then you struggle with trusting that. Then you struggle with trusting that they are going to support you the way you need to be supported. And it fucking sucks, because you need that support. You're desperate. Like, you're in crisis. Your storm is knocking you around, and your voices, like my voices, are so loud, and I just in mental and emotional collapse, and I still going, I'll be fine. and
Yeah.
And I know I'll survive the storm, but like Jay and Bear and Sean always remind me I don't have to survive the storm alone. And sometimes they're going through their own storm, and it's just like, you know what? Let's just hook our boats together. We'll ride out the storm together. Like, I'll stay on my boat. You stay on your boat, and we'll have our storms. We'll ride out the storm together. And sometimes that also helps. Sometimes you don't have the emotional capacity to like be there for somebody, but you can be there with someone. There's a difference between for
Sometimes
someone,
it's just knowing.
just being with somebody. Here, I'll throw you a rope.
Yeah.
And you throw me yours, and we'll
Yep.
tie the ships together, and we'll just ride this storm out because that's all we can do at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes that's how it works.
And
And
sometimes,
eventually you together.
sometimes that's just all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, woot.
Yeah. So I think we kept it short this time.
KJV battle.
I think I'm gonna need one of those. I think I'm gonna need to Woodburn KJV into a battle. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
We just write Sky Daddy on the paddle, and on the handle is KJV.
Yes. I'm gonna need to see that happen.
No. The bigger paddle has to be KJV. The smaller paddle has to be
Yes.
the internet
There
was
you go.
the international whatever.
The NIV.
NIV.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just want my community to know, and I think I wasn't gonna stream, to be 100% honest. I was back and forth since the moment I woke up. I was like, I don't know if I don't want to do it. I don't know if I'm in the headspace. I don't know if I can. I was like literally Searugs took my kids a day early. Like we had to do something because I have to get work done. I have work done. I have housework I need to get done. I have so much stuff I need to get done. But then I was even with Sean, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing it or not. This is gonna be a last minute thing.
Okay.
But I decided to stream as long as we just kept it short. And I decided to stream because I think this is something that I wanted to share. And that I think that because of my community, I was like, I'm trying very hard to be transparent about where I'm at. I'm struggling. And that doesn't mean that I need that I think that any of you are burdened, and I don't want to hear from you less because I don't want to hear from you less because to be honest, just hearing from you, getting the memes and getting the how are you text, this like it really and Paragon, don't think that like your text messages me like again, I'm okay with like, you know, just tying our ships together and writing out our storms together, and that's important too. Is just because that I'm struggling with something doesn't mean I don't want you there with me. But I'm struggling, and it's important that my community knows that, and I'm struggling, and here's how I'm dealing with it, and here's what I'm struggling with, and yeah.
I appreciate you and you putting your trust in us and your community and allowing us to be there for you.
So I might go and cry while I'm doing laundry, but that's okay. And I know that I'm going to survive this. As my therapist always keeps telling me, this is hard, but I have survived. I've survived hard. That doesn't make it easier. That doesn't make it less difficult. It just is, it's one of those, this won't last forever. And I know that there are points, especially in the fall, where I thought that I was just going to feel that way forever. And it felt like it was never going to end. But I have to do the facts. I have to look at the facts. And I go, and for me, luckily, what is stressing me out and what is pulling me on me right now, I know that there are deadlines. I know that there are timelines. There's a date, and I know that once I get past this date, I just have to make it there. And it's not gonna make it easier, and I have to just keep pushing until that point. But that I'm still struggling. My kids are still suffering. Like Chloe and I had a conversation like yesterday, and she's going to therapy, so she's starting to talk I'm very grateful for, but it's like it's hard. It's hard, and I am struggling. And I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to mask that, and I'm not going to sit here and put on a face like, oh, it'll be fine, because I'm not. I know I will survive, but it feels like sometimes the swamp of sadness is just trying to keep my head above water and from drowning. And sometimes I have to fight against that sadness. And that's where I'm at. I have to just keep fighting. And sometimes I don't have the fight, and sometimes I just have to sit. And then I feel guilty because time has passed and I'm just sitting and I need to do something. And then it's a whole other thing. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, and with that, we're going to go. I have shit to do.
Okay.
I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Sean, thanks for streaming. I'm going to go. Try.
Is it okay if we continue checking in with you?
Please. I'm going to need it. So with that, I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and I really appreciate you guys in my community, and I know Sean does, and I might order crumble cookies. Oh, yeah, my refrigerator's dead, so I got to order DoorDash anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, that's a whole nother saga that's like added onto this. I have a dead refrigerator. It's fine. It's cool. It's anyway. And with that, I'm going to go find some DoorDash and get some work done. So I love you guys. We love you guys, and we will catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.